What are you laughing at?
I don't know. I thought about foreskin, which took me to golf, because foreskin. Then I thought about a bunch of old men screaming out on the golf course, and it just hit me in the right spot.
Have you guys heard about the Tylenol murders?
Mm-hmm. I did a little bit about them, and then I was told not to focus on it.
They actually put out a documentary about it recently, and it's funny because I was researching this, and my sister's like, "Yeah, I'm watching this now." I said, oh, "I'm researching it," but I'm like done. So, I'm gonna talk about the victims first. Mary Kellerman, who was 12, she woke up feeling sick. She had a runny nose and a headache. Her parents had her stay home from school. They gave her some Tylenol. Within moments, she collapsed on the bathroom floor. She was pronounced dead at the hospital from unknown causes. Oh. Same day. Adam Janus, 27. He took a sick day from work. He took 2 extra strength Tylenol after he ate lunch. He collapsed almost instantly. Paramedics ruled it as a massive heart attack. So, the Stanley Janus and Teresa Janus, they're married. They are, I think Stanley is Adam's brother. They went to the hospital and found out that his brother died. They've been upset. They were crying. They came home. They came home from the hospital and they had headaches from crying for a while. They went to go take some Tylenol that they found in Adam's bathroom, and they collapsed within moments, both of them. So the entire household went to the hospital in fear of carbon monoxide poisoning. So that's 4 people down. Mary Rayner, she was 27. It was actually a week since she delivered her 4th child. To relieve some of the discomfort she was having, she took some Tylenol. Her daughter walked in as she collapsed on the floor. Mary McFarland, who was 31, she was at work when she felt a headache coming on. She went to the back room to take some Tylenol. She headed back up to the office, and that's when she collapsed. Paula Prince, she's 35. She just got done with her day as a flight attendant, flying from Vegas back to Chicago. On her way home, she stopped at Walgreens and purchased some Tylenol. Once she got home, she took some Tylenol and collapsed within minutes. She wasn't found until 3 days later. There was still a bottle of open Tylenol on her bathroom sink. So those are all the victims of these Tylenol murders. The police narrowed it down pretty quickly about what was happening. Everyone ingested Tylenol capsules that had been laced with potassium cyanide. The bottles that Keller and Janus had the same control number, and it smelled of almonds, which is a common thing of cyanide smelling. And then, of course, my dumb ass is over here Googling potassium cyanide. How fast does it kill people? I was a couple clicks in of going, maybe I shouldn't be Googling this on my phone. But it usually, symptoms, it rapidly absorbs in the system. Its symptoms begin within a few seconds after exposure, and death occurs less than 30 minutes after the symptoms. So the minute your body absorbs cyanide...
Oh, potassium, it made me wonder.
Bananas.
With the word potassium
cyanide.
I was like, well, I have a potassium deficiency. You know what I mean? So in my mind, I was like, what the fuck? But then cyanide, and it's like, okay.
Because of this, Johnson & Johnson acted really quickly, recalling 31 million bottles of Tylenol. It's the biggest recall in history. They also offered a $100,000 reward for any information leading to their arrest. This actually cost the company over $1 million to do the recall and everything. There was a nationwide panic. Some cities canceled Halloween in fear candy was being poisoned. Hospitals were overwhelmed with people thinking they were poisoned. Newspapers print out hundreds of articles. Police would go up and down the streets with a megaphone warning people about laced medicine.
So is that the same year that the guy tried to poison his son with the Halloween medicine? Or
no, I think that was before that.
Okay, so it's still kind of just feeding off.
Yeah,
of that.
it's feeding off of it.
Okay.
There's also copycats starting to pop up, tampering with medication, with putting rat poison or hydrochloric acid was found in some medications. So this is what the police found out. The Tylenol was purchased in the Chicago area. They were all purchased from different stores. The stores all got their Tylenol from different production plants. 10 million pills were tested. 50 pills were found with cyanide from 8 different bottles. 5 of the bottles were from the victims. 2 of the bottles were sent back in the recall. And 1 bottle was still found on the shelf. There's no evidence found. Security cameras were not as common, so there was really, they couldn't trace of who did that.
Now, there was the same thing with milk.
See, I don't know about the milk thing.
Okay, no.
So, this is what the police thought. The pills were bought, they were laced, and then placed back on the shelves within a day because cyanide will start eating through the pills within a couple of days.
Okay.
The police first looked into the employees of the manufacturing plants and the stores that these were bought at. So I have a couple suspects that they...
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Though that it's not anything... The same production line.
Yeah, so
you know,
they're thinking maybe
normally
it's a
like,
plant.
oh, a dude wanted to kill his kid, his wife, his partner.
And these are all random people, even one a child.
Okay.
You know? Suspect number 1 was 48-year-old Roger Arnold. He was a dock worker. He was heard saying suspicious things at a local bar. Further investigation revealed he worked with the father of one of the victims at the Jewel warehouse. Adam bought his bottle at the Jewel convenience store. Mary Rayner bought her bottle across the street from where his ex-wife worked. Paula's apartment was down the street from where Roger liked to drink. So he seems like he's the center of all these victims,
but there's
right?
nothing still.
In his house, they found different crime manuals and a chemistry set. He claimed to be a hobby chemist. He refused to take a lie detector test and was eventually released from custody because there wasn't enough evidence to prosecute. In 1983, Roger became so infuriated, he went to shoot the bar owner that turned him in. He ended up shooting a customer that came out of the bar, mistaking him for the owner, and he was found guilty and ended up getting 30 years in prison. He ended up dying in 2008. So that was the first suspect.
If he is innocent, I'd be mad too. You know what I mean? But if not, you know.
The suspect number...
Listen, crazy.
Suspect number 2... Ted Kowinski, the Unabomber. He was named as a suspect because he was from Illinois. His parents directly in the center of the reshelving of the pills. So his parents lived in the center of that. The timeline created placed him in Chicago at the time. He was also obsessed with linking victims to wood or trees. Okay? Johnson & Johnson names are Robert Wood Johnson and James Wood Johnson. So that was their...
That's a fetch.
That was another suspect.
But if you're just looking...
What was his name again?
If you're just looking,
Kowinski.
you know what I mean? You can find similarities in
Yeah.
almost anything.
So 1 week after the murders, Johnson & Johnson received a photocopy of a handwritten letter. Okay, this is what it said. Gentlemen, as you can see, it is easy to place cyanide in capsules sitting on store shelves. And since the cyanide is in the gelatin, it is easy to get buyers to swallow the bitter pill. Another beauty is cyanide operates quickly. It takes very little, and there will be no time to take countermeasures. If you don't mind the publicity of these little capsules, then do nothing. So far, I have spent less than $50, and it takes me less than 10 minutes per bottle. If you want to stop the killing, wire $1 million to bank account number 8449597 at Continental Illinois Bank of Chicago. Don't attempt to involve the FBI or local Chicago authorities with this letter. A couple phone calls by me will undo anything you could possibly do. So, suspect number 3. James Lewis. He was 36. James's fingerprints were found on that letter. James claimed he had nothing to do with the murder, and the reason he wrote the letter was to embarrass his wife's former boss by having money sent to his bank account. So it wasn't even his bank account, it was his wife's former boss's bank account.
And he didn't have anything to do with it.
No, he just wanted to... where was it?
Like, this dude...
Okay, so...
I hope my husband loves me enough.
I think I read that. I think her boss shorted her money. And so he's like, hey, send money to this dude's bank account. My question is, where did he get the bank account information for the former boss?
First of all, what?
Okay, so not only were his fingerprints found on the letter, he also has a history of violence. When he was 19, he chased his mother with an axe.
Like one does.
In 1966, he was committed in the Missouri State Mental Hospital after taking 36 antacid pills. In there, he was diagnosed with catatonic schizophrenia. In 1978, he was hired as an accountant for 72-year-old Raymond West. James tried to cash a forged check on Mr. West's account. That same day, Mr. West's dismembered body was found hanging from a pulley in the attic. James was charged and acquitted because he was not notified of his rights when he was arrested, and some evidence was illegally obtained.
I'm going to take you way back. Did you say catastrophic?
Where is it? Catastrophic schizophrenia.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, that's just what I was wondering.
James and his wife tried to start a sketchy business importing pill-making machines from India. It just keeps piling on, right?
It's like things I didn't even know was going on at those times. You're pill pressing.
He chased his mother with an axe. He dismembered his employer. He tried to bounce checks. He tried to make phony pills. In 1981, he falsified credit applicants. When the police went to arrest him, he fled to Chicago and lived under a false name. So that's how he ended up in Chicago. His alibi was he was not in town when the murders took place. Him and his wife were in New York. James was never charged with the murders because there was not enough evidence given. He was actually charged with extortion from trying to get Johnson & Johnson to pay him with $1 million. He was also charged with six counts of mail fraud for false credit card applications. He was sentenced to 20 years, but only served 13. His story isn't over, guys.
Okay, I'm ready, because...
In 2004, he was indicted on 6 charges, including kidnapping, aggravated rape, and drugging a person. He was held without bail until 2007. He was released when the victim declined to go forward with the prosecution. In 2010, he wrote a book called Poison, The Doctor's Dilemma.
Is he the doctor in that?
I don't know. He died in 2023.
Oh, wow.
One theory that was brought up was it was possible James flew back to Chicago from New York and planted the pills and then went back to New York.
Okay. All right.
But they never...
Yeah, because that seems crazy. Yeah, okay.
In 2006, the Tylenol Task Force... There's a Tylenol Task Force, guys. Reopened the case. In 2009, the FBI in Chicago used advanced forensic technology to process DNA from the case. The DNA was requested from Kwasinski. He said he'll give you the DNA only if the items in his cabin will not go up for auction.
Do you have to request DNA from somebody that is already in federal prison found guilty?
I don't know.
Because that seems like you don't.
Their DNA should already be
it's a federal guilty.
I don't know.
I'm not saying you know. I'm just saying, in
out.
my opinion, Krasinski should already that should already be on. The
Well, they
record.
requested it, and he said if my stuff in my cabin will not go up for auction, I'll give you my DNA. Well,
he thinks that he is going to make some kind of money or what?
I don't know, but the FBI.
They do. They
The
do
FBI
make that money though
agreed.
from that. They do make bad money. Like they had to take Marilyn Manson's socks because he was making things out of the thread.
Mm-hmm. You're telling us about that.
Yeah, and they could sell that.
Yeah.
And you cannot make any money off of any crime. It's whatever. If you're found guilty of a crime you didn't even commit, you can't make money off of it. Which is kind of fucked up because if you didn't really dip it, you should be able to.
The FBI agreed for this deal, right? But they still put his stuff up for auction.
If you're
So he did not supply them with the DNA.
If you're making money for a certain thing, there might be loopholes. I don't know. That makes sense.
Gypsy Rose.
Right.
Something.
She got a loophole.
Has to be.
Like, there's some kind of loophole there. There has to be.
So the second suspect, they had to exhume his body to get the DNA from him, and they did not find a match.
Ah, dang it.
They received a DNA sample from James, and the DNA did not match. So out of Kwasinski didn't give DNA. The other two, when they got the DNA, it did not match.
Krasinski didn't do it.
The case still remains unsolved.
Maybe it did.
Because of this case, the tamper-proof seal was invented, and it is now a crime if you get caught tampering with any type of medication, food, or consumer goods. You can receive up to 20 years in prison. But that's where the tamper seal...
I was going to say, is that where the milk... I'm still going on that.
Yeah, I gotta
was
look into
the
this milk
case
thing.
where the milk, somebody was putting cyanide in milk or something. I don't know.
Oh, I know. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking
Does that-
about. Yeah, that brings. Yeah.
I don't. I feel like there was something, and then that's when they started putting the seal on milk.
I wonder if this like all happened around the same time.
It had to have, because look at the Halloween candy. It happened around the same time.
Well, so this happened. What year did I say, guys?
I don't know.
90.
60s.
82.
82?
82. Was it 82?
That was before the pixie sticks.
Yeah, 1982.
My mom says I can't have pixie sticks.
That was before the pixie sticks murders, wasn't it?
Pixie sticks.
Hold on,
make
I'll
me
tell you.
want-
I wrote this down. You weren't here for when we talked about it.
About what?
The pixie sticks murders?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Murders on Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's...
74. Yeah, 74 is when the pixie stick one happened.
All right.
Well,
And then there was another one about the doctor that put laxatives in the candy.
yeah. I have to blow my nose again, so.
The way
It was
people,
59. 59 was the first one. Yeah, go ahead.
The way people murder people, when you're trying to get away with it, like, okay, I'm gonna buy milk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put cyanide in one of these milks that I'm taking home, and then like 5 other ones, and then when I murder you, it will not seem that suspicious. You know what I mean? And then like people just. That's their way of thinking. Like, oh, okay, I want to murder my child.
Uh-huh.
I'll put pixie sticks. 5
And then give it
cyanide pixie sticks.
Yeah.
And then 1 goes to my son. 4 go to
Oopsie.
the neighborhood kids. Oh my God, it must be somebody in the neighborhood. This
Yeah.
is crazy.
Or the Muffin Man.
I don't
Muffins.
want to kill anybody bad enough that I want to kill 4 additional people just to make
Right.
up for that one.
So I wonder, like, how many people he actually... Did he pinpoint somebody specific? Do you think? Like, oh...
Oh yeah, in this case, he probably did.
I don't know, maybe not.
You had to have. He had to have.
I don't know, because what's his face? The one bomber, he was just doing it just to get attention.
We're talking about Ted Kowinski.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, so he got
the one-
real mad. No, I was thinking
He was
about
the
the
one that
Oklahoma
was-
City bombing.
He's the one that was writing the letters to the police, right? Or is it the other one?
I don't know.
What, in this story?
No, I'm talking about, he's just
I think
bomber.
it was the Unabomber that was writing letters.
The
to police.
Unabomber, he just sent things out to random people, didn't he? And then the
No, he
Oklahoma
said-
City bomber sent them to government buildings.
I don't know.
I think that
Because the Oklahoma, Timothy McVeigh,
Yeah.
the Oklahoma City bomber, he got really upset that there were children in that building that he bombed because he realized he was going to get a lot more publicity because of the children in the building.
that's not what
So
I'm talking about.
Timothy McVeigh and Ted Kowinski, I think Ted wanted random people.
I think
I'm not
he
positive.
wanted attention.
He did want that's the thing is that like he was out in the middle of the woods, like nobody. His brother turned him in.
Are we even talking about the same person?
No, I think you guys are talking about two different people.
Yeah, we're definitely
Ted
talking...
Quincy, the Unabomber.
Pull up Google, please.
His brother turned him in because they released.
Look up that man so I can see what he looks like.
I don't think the OKC bomber sent anything to anybody.
Timothy McVeigh didn't send anything to anybody.
The Unabomber sent cutout. He used cutout words of.
Timothy McVeigh was the Timothy McVeigh was the
Unabomber.
No, the Oklahoma City bomber. Yeah, that's the
Unabomber.
Yeah, that's the Unabomber. The Unabomber, he sent packages.
Oh, George Metesky, that's who I'm thinking of.
Wait, maybe that's who I'm thinking of.
He's a different bomber, and he would he was known as the Mad Bomber in New York City, and he would literally just put bombs in like banks, and they're handmade banks. I mean, they're handmade bombs.
No.
Was sending letters like to the cops, being like, I want this.
Can you write a story about him so you could tell me about that?
Because I don't know about this guy.
And the reason why they caught him...
This is our next one.
Yeah, I don't know about this guy.
They caught him, the forensic, the psychologist, they was looking at his handwriting and all that stuff, and they could tell what he where he was gonna live, what he would what he
crazy.
was gonna look like.
We need our handwriting analyzed.
They could tell.
I don't want to know mine.
Let me look into that.
They could tell that he was going to be living with a woman, a head of the household woman, because of the way that his W's were shaped.
Matriarch, kind of.
Matriarch.
Whatever.
A female stronghold in the family.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that he was Catholic, could tell that he was religious, and they could tell that he was a straight pinpoint man. And they said that when they go and find him, they're gonna see him in a double-breasted suit. When they went to go and knock on the door, he was living with a woman. Everything was decked out in Catholic shit. He wasn't in a double-breasted suit, but when they told him to change to go take him down to the station, he came out in a double-breasted suit, and it was all buttoned up, and it's crazy.
No.